We are live. This is the market update. I am your host, Bill Noble. Huge overnight events in Legacy. A Microsoft earnings debacle that we warned about. What is the situation with the Fed? The Bank of Japan increases interest rates the day before the Fed hopefully goes full dovish. I don't think that's an accident. This should be good for crypto unless equities fail. Beware the failed rally in stocks. But we will get into all of this. At the end of the day, I think this is going to be all crypto positive. And, you know, the big dip might not be until the middle of August, kind of like last year. So net, there's stuff going on. Net, I think it's all crypto positive, and I remain bullish. I think before, as I was telling you, I would rather err on the side of being too bullish. And as long as you're not leveraged, okay, none of that. I would rather err on the side of you owning crypto and having to tolerate downside volatility than I am with, missing whatever's going to happen in September. You don't have to go all in August, but I want to be holding core long positions. Okay, let's welcome who's here. Horace, Corey, Plantano is back. David, Jelster, Joshua, welcome to the show. Huber's Ranch, Warmon, SGVOG, welcome. Leo, Greens X, welcome. Vidotas, welcome. Shelly is back. Mr. Relentless, welcome to the show. Welcome. Okay, let's get into some news and some macro. And then I think we're going to be doing a lot of live TA today. Okay, let's talk about the employment market. This is very relevant. Microsoft earnings are out. They were horrendous. That was predictable. The reason it was predictable is because they laid off their entire diversity, equity, and inclusion group. That's controversial, that stuff. But regardless of what you think of it, you would eliminate a group like that when you just had to indiscriminately fire people. Right? When you have to fire people just because you have to fire people, not, based on anything else other than economics. Let's put it that way. Right? It's very rare for a Silicon Valley company to do that way. Those earnings were horrendous. We'll talk about that a little bit. I think the big announcement came from Intel. Right? Intel says, well, we didn't participate in this AI semiconductor party, and now we have to restructure and lay off a whole bunch of people. And this is in the thousands. And that is really sad when that happens, because these technology companies are all in the same area. It's like when Wall Street does it. When Wall Street does it, people get pushed off the cart. If in effect, there's not going to be a seat for everybody after those kind of layoffs. And they are coming. Let's talk about this. So private sector job openings are at a 6-year low. Okay, so private sector job openings are in the red, and the green is government job openings. Whether those are actually open jobs, whether it's Uncle Sugar handing out money by creating government jobs, or whether it's like smoke and mirrors. There's open jobs that aren't actually jobs. Okay. Hires plunge the most in over a year since April of 2020. So hiring just sort of fell out of bed. And then quits tumbled to the lowest level since the COVID crash. So, nobody is hiring and no one is quitting. Now, you might be wondering, gee, Bill, thanks for getting my morning off to an exciting, depressing start. Truthfully, it's not depressing. I mean, it is, but it's not. And here's why. They got to cut rates. I'm looking at this graph. Zero Hedge is looking at this graph. You are looking at this graph. You are looking at the employment situation. We see it. They see it. They have to get dovish today because the meeting is today. So they have to get dovish in July to set up a September cut. Now, I think what they really want to do is they would prefer to do it today. Now, the reason they're not going to do it today is because they would have to explain the sudden about face, really want to go on vacation, which is what everybody in New York, London, Washington, D.C. wants to do in August. The fact of the matter is the labor market is weak. Let's do it that way. Weak. And it's probably going to fall out of bed. Now, they should cut rates, but they're not because, they're more important with their image versus, what should get done. Okay. Now, here's Intel, right? So, CEO barks on ambitious effort to gain market share. So when NVIDIA kind of ate everyone's lunch in the chip sector, now this is going to happen. Lower rates help crypto just massively, right? In other words, lower rates in equities just prevents a repeat of the dot-com bubble in 2000. Maybe, right? That's what lower rates do for equities. It gives them some kind of stability. Even if everybody embarks on massive cost cutting, you're still not going to get this up only forever stuff that you just had. That's over. So lower rates propel crypto. This kind of news with Microsoft and Intel, that's very constructive. Okay, now more macro stuff that has relevance. So the Bank of Japan has finally succeeded in getting the yen to stop going down, right? In other words, they were on the verge of a total currency crisis. Japan was on the verge of a currency crisis. They were raising interest rates and their currency was still falling. Normally, when you raise rates, your currency should rise. Now, the Bank of Japan, being very chart savvy, believe it or not, they were some of the original users of Japanese candlesticks before it became a standard back in the 90s. These guys saw an opportunity, like they were meeting today anyway, but they were like, you know what? We're doing this. We got the Fed about to cut rates and we are going to make sure the yen stops falling. So we're going to tighten. We're going to stop printing money or print less money or whatever. And guess what? The yen went up. And again, you're asking me, gee, Bill, why do we care about this? Because the dollar went down, right? When the yen goes up, the dollar goes down. And if you get a big enough of a move and say the dollar versus the yen, then the dollar starts falling versus other currencies. And if Powell has one functioning brain cell, he will jump on this, not only to help Japan, but to help us and get rates lower and the dollar down. Which, the big man's going to want that anyway if he wins. And that's an if, and we'll go over that too. All right. But at the end of the day, lower rates, lower dollar, yay for crypto. Crypto goes up when the dollar goes down, period. Okay, so, this is like the disaster guy, talking about Japan's population. After 3 generations, there won't be anybody in Japan because there's more people dying than are being born. We've known this for a really long time. The bottom line is they could not have a currency crisis over there. They just can't. And the Fed, no matter what they want to tell you, at the end of the day, they cannot let the Japanese economy blow up over our interest rate policy, period. So if Japan's got dollar yen falling, the Fed should come out today and be dovish, right? Be as dovish as possible without cutting. Now, Powell can do that with very subtle changes in the language, but, we got to help the Japanese. We do, because the Japanese are helping themselves. So the Fed is expected to hold rates steady and signal a September cut. This has already been announced. So this has already been leaked. Okay. So that's what we're going to get from Powell. Hi, everything's going our way. We're very happy with what's going on. If it continues to go our way, we can probably make a change in policy in September. That's probably what it's going to sound like. Now, the big question is, will equities rally and then fail off this news? I think Powell, if he's smart, he'll come out and be as dovish as possible and say, you know what, we're just so happy with what's going on, and we're worried about the inflation. We're worried about the unemployment situation. We're sensitive to these things. It is an election year, right? You don't want to have a problem in Japan, a problem with our stock market. The commercial real estate headlines are starting to hit. You know, I heard a giant mall in Baltimore sold for like 80 cents on the dollar. Okay. The Fed cannot be oblivious to these things. You cannot be oblivious to the fact that Warren Buffett is aggressively selling Bank of America stock. Okay. He was aggressively selling Apple before tech fell out of bed, right? And he disposed of 71 million shares right there. That's Bank of America. Okay. So the guy's 100 years old. He's not into Bitcoin, but he didn't get where he was because he's stupid. He's just like, you know what? I'm 100 years old and I'm not going to sit around and get wrecked any more than necessary. So we're going to sell. The guy who always buys is selling. And there's nothing else to buy out there in the world except crypto. There isn't. Because all this legacy stuff eventually is going to wind up just like trading in a range. In other words, it went way up and then, you know, it's either done going down or there'll be a final huge heave. And then it's just going to find a range and sit there and do nothing. Because that's happened before in history, right? You have a bubble and two possible reactions after a bubble. Stocks go down, 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 and sit there for a while, or stocks go down a little and then just don't move. It happened in bonds. You know, notice I don't talk about the bond market. I don't talk that much about anything except what the Fed does. But the rest of the bond market, yeah, we talk about it a little, but it's not like it's moving around a lot. It's not. Volatility's dead over there. The only market that's going to have volatility is going to be crypto. Period. Okay, so Bloomberg Commodity Index is falling out of bed. Commodities and metals have been falling because China's economy is falling out of bed. Again, they are going to have to print massively, right? And higher U.S. rates, even though I'm sure we don't care what they think. But we should. The central bankers might. We should care. Because if their economy falls out of bed because our interest rates are too high, that's going to affect everybody. But as you can see by this graph, commodities are down only. Okay, so there's agricultural goods, crude oil, copper, iron ore, all kinds of stuff in this index, and it's blowing up. This equals lower rates and printing from the Chinese. And don't doubt that the Russians just reversed course on Bitcoin. So everyone has figured out that they let the Bitcoin miners go over here. There is Bitcoin mining in Kazakhstan, but that's not Russia proper. These guys let Bitcoin mining go. And now they're asking themselves, wait a minute, we've been buying gold and silver. And what happens if Bitcoin becomes a reserve asset or the reserve asset and we don't own it? And Uncle Sugar is going to come in March or January and start paying $100K and not care. And we missed it. Like there's retail FOMO, there's hedge fund FOMO, there's BlackRock, Franklin Templeton FOMO, and then there's sovereign FOMO. And they're selling crypto. Like they were selling it yesterday because everybody was dumping their losing positions at the end of the month. And people are selling right before every government is about to get the Satoshi white paper out and read it and go, you know, I think we should get involved in this. I look at my screen in disbelief I mean, I know crypto does follow equities, but come on. Okay, so it's the word about Bloomberg itself, just so you know. So Bloomberg started off as this like machine that had everything. It was actually a terminal. It was actually a machine back in the day that had this really weird keyboard, literally, because you could access everything, like I mean everything about finance, including like tools, and it was just incredible. So when this thing came out, it became a terminal, and then it became a TV show, and then it became a news service. And, Michael Bloomberg's empire became an empire. Now, Michael Bloomberg is very much left on the left, right? So every day, it seems strange to me that this, like, what used to be to me, this very almost boring financial newspaper or news service is now publishing polls saying that Harris is beating Trump in certain states when the political betting markets don't show that. So there's a big propaganda effort to try to prop up Harris. I mean, she needs every advantage she can get. She's trying to win the race. And, she's getting help from like Kramer got bearish Bitcoin. He works for MSNBC, and Harris is getting help from Bloomberg. Now, so that's kind of funny, right? Because she could get a lot of press by just getting rid of Gensler, but she's not doing that. One thing about Harris that I think is interesting is that Michelle Obama, as Barack Obama's wife, for anybody who doesn't know, he was like the super popular rock star president some years back. Michelle Obama, his wife, has a commercial out saying, please go out and vote. It doesn't say, please go out and vote for Harris. It just says, please go out and vote. Somebody told me this yesterday. I saw it on Twitter. So it would be kind of funny if the Democrats put out Harris to see how she would do, and then replaced her with Michelle Obama at the convention. As crazy as that sounds, I don't know how they're going to win with some of the things that she's saying. At the end of the day, all this social division is dollar negative. All the social division is fiat negative. For example, I'm not going to go into the details. I don't even really understand what's going on, but apparently they're doing town by town fighting in England. There's like, people who just, there's immigrants, native born, and the police, and it looks like a complete melee in like, I guess you could call it suburban England. What is that about? Not only what is that about, but why is there a news headline about something Dalio-esque like social disorder every day? Like there's a serious thing happening every day. In my group, I talked about the flow of the news. It's so strange. And at the end of the day, it's unbelievably bullish crypto. Okay. So again, Bloomberg coming down on Trump's vice president. This is coming from the financial news. Okay. And then Trump's crypto plan could end Bitcoin's anarchic vision. I mean, the anarchic vision of Bitcoin was that Bitcoin would become a reserve asset and become $1 million plan. And all Trump was doing was borrowing what Kennedy said. Trump doesn't really understand it. Kennedy understands it. But Kennedy was so popular, Trump adopted the plan. And, if anything hurt Bitcoin as like a rebellion against the system, it was BlackRock, right? The fact that BlackRock's got 1% of the Bitcoin supply, that's kind of very Wall Street-ish. But at the end of the day, the more the Bloombergs of the world cry, the more America goes business and Bitcoin friendly, assuming we're going in that direction. This is like eventually up only crypto. It is. Okay. So $388 million in Bitcoin got pulled off Binance. I mean, wouldn't you? I mean, I finally have traction. Like, there is no more Bitcoin on TikTok. It's up to 100. That's a short done by me. So I did a short video called There Is No More Bitcoin back in March. It put my channel on the map. My channel stalled in terms of new viewers. I brought the sequel back after Trump came out, right? I brought back There Is No More Bitcoin Part 2. It got 100,000 views on TikTok, and then eventually YouTube picked it up and started moving it. Begrudgingly, they started moving it. Because again, it just got, that's how these things work. YouTube didn't want this to happen. They want to suppress this, but they can't. They can't suppress this. I heard something like Altcoin Daily. It's like, they're the biggest people in crypto. It's like a news site. They have like 30,000 new subscribers off the Trump announcement. What do you think is going to happen when all these people hit the green button at the same time? It's unbelievable. There really is going to be no more Bitcoin. There's nowhere to get this stuff from. And everyone's like, oh, Mt. Gox and the government are going to sell. Really? Oh, well, good. Okay, XRP is on the move, right? Like, I can't believe Gensler hasn't officially gone away on all this, but, they're going away. XRP is like, it's not up only, but it's bid only. It's like doesn't downtick, right? Can XRP go to $1? I actually think XRP can go to $3, over a 6-7 month period of time. Like XRP is breaking out and basically it can be seen, pretty clearly on charts. And, it's like all the crypto news is like, hey, the bus is leaving. Okay. So this is funny. China crypto ban fails to stop scams. So to say the Chinese have butchered their crypto policy is an understatement. They got rid of Bitcoin mining, like a legit part of crypto, but then the scams are everywhere. So when you get rid of the legitimate part, you leave the population open to scammers because they can't get it. They have to get it on the gray market. They have to get it when no one's looking. Again, let's give communism another chance. Crazy. Okay. Mt. Gox moved $3 billion in Bitcoin. Good luck with this strategy. Nobody cares about Mt. Gox. Nobody cares about the U.S. government moving Bitcoin around. They can sell it all. The price would go down and come straight back up. Why? Because all of these big over-the-counter dealers, right? They have to have the Bitcoin when everyone comes in to buy. That could be, because the hedge funds are all going to buy it in front of the governments. Like Michael Saylor, the hedge funds, Franklin Templeton, state pension funds. This could turn into monkey see, monkey do. Like, oh, they bought Bitcoin. Oh, we better buy Bitcoin. Oh, they've got the Ethereum ETF. We better get the Ethereum ETF. So, enjoy yourself. Have fun with this. Okay. Bitcoin sags as ETF flows reverse. Everyone's like, oh my God, we didn't get the ETF flows today. Please. Okay. Again, Cointelegraph and these organizations have to write about something. It's like, oh my God, it's an outflow. Whatever. Again, it doesn't make any sense to fade the Bitcoin or Ethereum ETF. Okay. So, I mean, if they're getting 100 million a day, imagine what happens if Bitcoin makes a new all-time high. Okay. So Elon was talking about the dollar destruction. I'm not sure exactly what Elon said here about Bitcoin. Okay. Elon is eventually going to say something. He's got to sell electric cars that are falling in price for a currency that appreciates. Okay. Period. Now, I continue to think these guys from Franklin Templeton are going to be back promoting Solana. Everybody is kind of trying to FUD the Solana ETF. It can't happen. Wall Street doesn't want it. We're too busy processing the 2 ETFs we have now. Blah, blah, blah. Solana goes to 300. Everyone's going to be like, oh, the Solana ETF? Well, that was my idea. Again, when the people who are bullish, like BlackRock or whoever's got the Bitcoin Ethereum ETF, like suddenly get hesitant, bearish, quiet, or engage in outright FUD, it's going up. So the bears are bearish and the bulls are bearish. And governments are going to hoover it all up. So, I mean, what could be more bullish? Everyone is hesitant. Everyone is worried. Everyone is negative. Meanwhile, crypto people are looking at this going, oh my God, this is going to go up only. Like BlackRock, BlackRock rules out Solana, the ETF. Okay, so in some ways, if BlackRock doesn't want it, it may not happen, but then that doesn't stop other people from applying to get it because everyone's claiming there's no interest. Yeah, there's no interest in the Solana ETF, and the Solana phone is going to get delivered in March of next year. Okay. Okay, guys, great, right? Like the Bitcoin ETF will sell the fact at 48K. You may never see those prices again, right? And of course, I think this is kind of funny. Solana's Dumpy.fund launches like some sort of mechanism for shorting meme coins. There's even a coin associated with it, which is funny, right? Meme coins, like I said, they bring in capital, they bring in eyeballs, okay? They provide leveraged exposure to the networks that they're on. So WIF is leveraged Solana. Pepe, for example, is leveraged ETH, meaning if you want to buy the fastest moving thing on a particular chain, you most likely at this point, you buy a meme coin. I'm hoping meme coins can develop into something more robust. I know we tried politicians, which worked for a while. Celebrities worked for, 3 days. There will be something in this cycle more than memes. But memes are keeping everybody occupied in the meantime, and that's the market update. All right. So we have Jung Lim here. Welcome. Okay. I do think you're going to start to get more of a bid in September, right? I think that's when the uptrend starts. I know everybody wants it to just go straight up only. I think an uptrend starts in September, and there are dips. There are dips off equities in August that you can take advantage of. Okay, why does the Japanese economy matter to our economy? Like, why does their dollar matter so much to ours? Okay, so if in a worst case scenario, you have a country like Japan that cannot control the value of its currency, you can have an inflation problem that can get worse, and you can have a loss of confidence in their stock and bond market. Okay. So, if you can't control the value of your currency, you can't control your purchasing power, then you lose control of a lot of things. Now, what we care about, we as in crypto people, is that the dollar goes down. That's what we care about. Now, in terms of like the Fed and the United States, is we just would prefer a major G7 trading partner not have a currency crisis. Because when the fiat currency market starts moving, yeah, it can be dramatic. We just don't want that, right? Central banks want to help other central banks. What we care about is that the dollar goes down, okay? So Jelster's also noticing about, like birth rates and stuff like this. Again, lower rates, because lower population growth equals, there has to be some kind of hope for humanity. So you're going to need lower interest rates and some form of hope. If everyone's fighting each other, like what's the positive news in the world? Like I can't even watch Twitter anymore at night. I'm done. Right? It matters. Okay. Brandon makes it to the party. Daniel makes paintball is here. Okay. You just got to remember, if it sounds like FUD, it's not FUD to scare you. It's FUD to inspire you about crypto. Okay. Now let's go to PowerPoint. Then we're going to do some live TA, but I just want you to see some of these pictures because, it's really important to understand that the dollar going lower is very bullish crypto. The only issue is like, like what are equities going to do? Equities like the lower dollar too. They do. It's counterintuitive, but when American goods get cheaper abroad, or everybody wants to get out of the dollar and get into something else, that means people are willing to take a little bit more risk. So, okay, so this is dollar yen. Okay, so dollar yen goes up, we worry, right? This was the top in Bitcoin around March. Dollar up, 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 up. Crypto down, 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 down. Okay, so we need to get this reversed. And the Japanese and Fed have finally engineered a rally to blow out the hedge funds. Because we all know hedge funds want, I don't know, they always want a disaster. They always want something huge to happen, some kind of crisis so that they can make tons of money off of it. Well, guess what? Now it's going the other way. Dollar down, good for crypto, period. Okay, Bitcoin. This is the Williams oscillator. This is very close to zero, which means there could be a big move in Bitcoin. Powell comes out today and goes full dovish, or Powell comes out today and cuts rates. Oh my God. This is resistance in Bitcoin around 68. There's more resistance around 70. And I don't care. And the market may not care if it gets the dovish thing or the dovish statements from the Fed that it wants. Because, check me. There's always a reason why you can be wrong. But like the dollar's going lower. The Fed has to cut rates. Everyone in the world wants to buy Bitcoin, and altcoins are destroyed, right? This is worth noting. Like some of the stuff that we're looking at, like Pro, Arkham, some of the stuff is at its lows. Like they've completely given up on crypto. They've given up on this stuff. That's crazy. That's just crazy, right? So here's the dollar index, right? This is DXY, which is a collection of a group of cryptos. So this is going down, and Lux Algo is inserting resistance as it goes down. And, to keep a long story short about Elliott Wave, the recent up move in the dollar was corrective in nature, meaning the larger trend is down. And recently the dollar, kind of as a whole versus all the other currencies, yeah, it went up lately. And yeah, that's kind of a pain in the butt for crypto, particularly Ethereum, because Ethereum loves the lower dollar. But this move lately in Bitcoin was correct. I'm sorry, in the dollar was corrective, meaning down, correction, down. Okay, NASDAQ. Okay, now we got to get somewhat serious, right? So what is going to happen in tech stocks? You know what I'm saying? Like the earnings are coming out. They're terrible. Starbucks earnings fell out of bed. I know we discussed some of that yesterday. What is going to happen in this? Okay, so the dollar is lower. That's good, right? The Fed is probably going to have to come out dovish for a lot of reasons. That's good. Now, what would be bad in stocks, like this is NASDAQ futures. This is like all the 100 biggest tech stocks together, NASDAQ 100. In equities, the symbol is QQQ. That's the ETF that follows the 100 biggest tech stocks. There's also a futures contract, which is helpful because it trades 24/6, meaning 24 hours a day, like 5 to 6 days a week. And you got a nice chunky bounce going on today in NASDAQ. That's great. What's not great is if that rally failed. Beware the failed rally. Because if the rally fails in equities and it's bad, that can affect altcoins. Even though I just told you all these bullish things about crypto, equities going down another 10%, I would be an idiot to think that that's not going to have some kind of negative impact on crypto at some point. But again, their pain is going to be our gain. Question is managing your psychology and your P&L so you can take advantage of it. Reminding you once again, in August of last year, if you were able to buy the final dip in August, by the time the market turned around, you were just like, you were in this like glorious state. All right. So that actually might be something worth doing from a live TA point of view. Okay. So first we have XRP breaking out of a square range, just so you know, right? Love it. Everybody gave up on XRP. Everybody gave up on Cardano. Everybody gave up on Polkadot. Everybody thinks Near can't go up. No one's paying attention to Zcash. It's up 100%. Hello, altcoins are moving. Okay, so let's go to let's try to find the least busy Bitcoin chart we can. Let's try a 3-day chart and let's go back in time. Let's go back in time. Okay. So this is the essence of live TA. You're just like basically watching me try to work something out here. So this is share screen. Yeah. It's that third go round that I always forget to share screen. All right. Assist to the Eagle King as always. Okay. So here's Bitcoin from last year. Oops. Labeling this, I don't know, we'll just call it 2023. Okay, so what did we have? We had a nasty dip in June of 2023. Then it goes up and crushes everybody because the whole rally in June got unwound in August. Personally, I think this was our July 4th. Like this is August of 2023. I think we did something like this over July 4th. And of course, to make sure everyone was completely out and bearish, they had to make a new low in September, which, some altcoins did, whatever. And of course, that was the mother of all lows before this thing went completely up only, like up only. And everyone's like, oh my God, I remember this. Like this was so dead. Like we were off the air. Like there was no price like this. There was no price action in this whole range. It was impossible. Like, because if you were trading in this band, like for 6 months, the market did nothing. Now, of course, that's preferable to what we got now, which is alts, down only. But this was just as bad. And the bottom was just as nasty, gnarly. Boredom followed by complete capitulation, followed by up only. Right? So, everybody's going to tell me, all the news is going to tell me that, someone's moving Bitcoin around and equities are down and Microsoft earnings. And in so many ways, I just don't care. I just don't care. I mean, I care, but it's not a reason to get negative crypto, right? Like just look at Near, right? Near has a sell signal on Lux Algo on a 4-hour chart. And then Near turns around and bounces, right? You want to see what I would call tactical health throughout crypto. In other words, every altcoin is not bouncing all at once. Like look at Velodrome was like straight up and then straight down. Like, what is that about in Velodrome? Just, is it tech stocks? Is it everyone selling at the end of the month? Why is everyone getting out of this stuff? I don't understand it. I don't. And that's okay, right? Because either the market's going to explain it to me, right? DeFi, continue to tell people that people are not, this is like a big focus. I got a report in my group. I'm not afraid to say it. We got a report. No one is interested in that report talking about DeFi. I mean, the institutions are going to have DeFi. They're going to have crypto and they're going to be coming into DeFi. 4 years after the super sexy, oh my God, it's DeFi. These businesses are now earning money and buying back tokens. And Aave the market stinks and the market is up only. Okay, XVS, I think this is also a DeFi play. I could be wrong. But again, certain altcoins are making new highs, right? Right. I'm more than willing, like, GFI is DeFi, like lending and real world assets. There's resistance here on a 4-hour chart, but you're getting to buy it at the bottom of the range. And there's even other memes like, I don't know. There was some people are looking at dinero. Everyone's trading the meme coins, and that's fine. That's what's moving. But there's a lot of stuff here that is, at the bottom end of its range, right? And Solana, continues to have a bid versus Bitcoin. Like this is Solana versus Bitcoin on a 4-hour chart. I mean, are you going to sell the market when Solana is outperforming everything? I mean, the signs that this thing can move are there. We just can't get the movement yet. We can't get the punch, right? Look at Avalanche, right? Avalanche was at 33 at the end of July. It's now at 26. I think Trump's presidential candidate, his vice presidential candidate, is like the 5th biggest holder of this. And they've quit. All right, you got the point. There are a lot of altcoins where people are suffering, and I get it. That sucks. And as Daniel says, this is why we crypto. Be welcome. This is why you crypto. And if they need to take it down, or they're afraid of equities, or everyone is selling, or everyone gets bearish, or there's geopolitical news, I'm sorry. In other words, you can come back to me in 3 months if it doesn't work out and say, Bill, I don't like you because I got long and I got wrecked. I'm willing to risk that, then have this thing start taking off over the summer, and then everybody got caught in the bearish weeds in August, because you can see how well that worked out last year. Do you know how many people gave up last year and got caught off guard, and people didn't get involved in this rally until it was basically over? I'm not doing that. Like, I saw it. I saw when the thing turned, I'm like, oh my God, they're going to reprice the whole market. Okay, let's be bullish. Let's think bullish, even if the price action is bad. Let's manage risk. Don't spend all the money all at once, because there could be an August dip, but you got the point. Okay, we'll see you tomorrow.